Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has been hospitalized after a fall fractured 3 ribs last night. Tuesday's midterm election saw high voter turnout and resulted in a Democrat majority in the U.S. House. Representative-elect Ben Cline leaves the seat open, and local parties are scrambling to nominate candidates for replacement.
A Southern California town is reeling after Marine combat veteran opened fire and killed 12. And the Washington and Lee men's and women's cross-country teams are heading cross-country to compete for an NCAA regional championship.
It's been a big day in news. Stay tuned for full coverage next on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Faith Isbell.
And I'm Crawford Humphreys.
Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg fractured in 3 ribs after a fall Wednesday evening. Thursday morning, she was admitted to George Washington University Hospital for observation. A Supreme Court public information officer says Ginsburg was in her office at the court when she fell. The 85-year-old has been a justice on the High Court since 1993. Police are investigating the motive for a former Marine's mass shooting in a Southern California bar last night. Police say 12 people are dead after Afghanistan veteran Ian David Long opened fire when the bar was packed with college students. Paul Verkaman is in Thousand Oaks, California, and has the details.
If you're hearing gunshots fired, one person advising there's a subject inside shooting.
Shortly before midnight in Thousand Oaks, California, a man armed with a gun entered the Borderline Bar and Grill.
473, we got multiple people down. We need a lot of ambulances and fire.
In the hours immediately after the shooting, loved ones desperately seek answers.
I am very emotional right now. This is my firstborn son, and it's tough.
Jason Kaufman doesn't know where his son is.
Cody is a tough kid. What I'm scared of is Cody went towards the action and not away from the action.
The bar was hosting a college country night and it was packed with college students.
So then our friends got the bar stools and they started slamming it against the window so we could get out. That's how we were able to get out. They broke the window.
At least a dozen people were killed, including Sheriff's Deputy Ron Hellis, who was one of the first to respond.
Gave his all, and tonight, as I told his wife, he died a hero because he went in to save lives, to save other people.
Police interviewed Long, the shooter, last spring after an episode of agitated behavior that they were told might be post-traumatic stress disorder.
The day after midterm elections, President Trump held a contentious news conference and later fired a top cabinet member. The potential fate of special counsel Robert Mueller's probe alarming Democrats, who have to wait until January to take control of the House. Karen Kaifa reports from Washington.
Ohio. President Trump changing the topic from the Democrats' midterm House victory. The president announcing via Twitter Wednesday afternoon that Jeff Sessions is out as Attorney General. Capitol Hill Democrats immediately worried about what that means for special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation.
It would create a constitutional crisis if this were a prelude to ending or greatly limiting the Mueller investigation.
The move, not a surprise. The president has been at odds with his attorney general since Sessions recused himself from the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. The president bypassing Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and tapping Matthew Whitaker, Sessions' chief of staff, as interim attorney general. Whitaker had been critical of the Mueller probe before joining the DOJ and will now oversee the investigation. The White House downplaying the concerns of Democrats.
He's done a fabulous job, really, and I think as a former U.S. attorney, he understands all the business that's before the Department of Justice.
News of the Sessions firing came after a contentious news conference in which Trump talked up his party's midterm showing.
Last night, the Republican Party defied history to expand our Senate majority while significantly beating expectations in the House for the midterm and midterm year.
The Senate will have to confirm the eventual permanent Attorney General nominee. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
CNN reports Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie may be on a list of names the president will consider to replace Sessions.
Most of the results of Tuesday's midterm election are in, and the federal government can look forward to divided government. House Democrats won back the majority for the first time since 2010, and Republicans captured Senate seats in Indiana, Missouri, and North Dakota to improve their narrow advantage. Virginia Democratic Senator Tim Kaine was up for election and was retained by a comfortable margin over Republican challenger Corey Stewart. Democrats secured governor's offices in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, and Republicans claim governor's seats in Ohio and in Florida, although the Sunshine State may see a recount if Florida's Secretary of State says the winning candidate's margin is 0.5 percentage points or less. The recount, if ordered, would likely begin Monday. Trump defied the odds and avoided the type of midterm wipeout that afflicted his predecessor, former President Barack Obama, but the president can expect intense scrutiny from House Democrats.
Former Virginia Delegate Ben Cline will be moving his political career to Washington. He won U.S. House District 6. Now his delegate seat is open, and efforts are already underway to fill his seat. The local Republican committee is holding a primary on November 17th, featuring 4 candidates so far. And the local Democratic Party said it will be holding a caucus, also on November 17th. Douglas Smith, chair of the Rockbridge area GOP, explains what the primary process will look like.
The vacancy, which we sort of anticipated, we figured Ben Cline would win and win big. Then you're presented with the vacancy. So there's 3 options available to us: mass meetings, or a convention, or what they call a party canvass or firehouse primary. Party canvass is simply, it's like a mini primary. You set up polling stations. You have to have at least 1 per area. We'll have 2, and supporters, loyal Republican supporters, show up and vote for their candidate. We are looking at November 17th, Saturday, November 17th, between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. We have a polling station at the American Legion Hall in the city of Buena Vista, and we are going to use the county building for residents of Lexington and residents of Rockbridge County to vote at. Well, we don't register by party in Virginia. However, you have to show, or at least there isn't proof that you've supported Democrats in the past. If you've supported Democrat candidates, the Democrat Party, then you're going to be asked to renounce those past actions, that you wholeheartedly support the Republican Party platform and agenda in the future. So far we have 4 declared candidates that have filed. We're looking to support the candidate up till the time of the general election, which is scheduled by the Speaker of the House, Kirk Cox, and that is December 18th. It's very fast amongst the legislative committee. We have a very experienced unit chairman, Vance Wilkins, and he said it's probably about the tightest timeline he's ever had to deal with in terms of politics.
The special election to fill Cline's vacant seat will be held on December 18th.
We have some clear skies and nice temperatures here today in Lexington, but there could be some rain and cooler temperatures on the way. Learn more after the break.
Stick around for a recap of other local election results and the news conference that cost a CNN reporter his press pass.
Lexington City Council will be welcoming newcomer Dennis Ayers for his first term after he and incumbents Chuck Smith and David Sigler were elected on Tuesday. I sat down with Smith and asked him about the top 3 issues Lexington is facing.
I think our top 3 issues are one is expanding as much as possible our tax base to keep our tax revenues as high, as broadly distributed as possible. As you know or may not know, our tax base is mostly tax exempt, so it puts a lot of load on the property owners that do pay property taxes. That's one. Second is continue to excuse me. Get our infrastructure plans moving forward. I guess you've seen a lot of construction around town. That's probably the big issue. The plan's already in place. It's just getting it done. And third is filling in some let's say upper floor vacancies downtown that could maybe have some small business opportunities that would help things along as well.
Now, you touched on construction a little bit. There's been a lot of construction in town. How long do you expect those improvements to take?
Well, that big water line that's going down Main Street, the whole timeline for that is about a year. So, and they're moving pretty fast. You know, I was really impressed on how quickly they're moving. So hopefully that year won't be completely taken out. We need to finish the water line that's going to the third year housing. We're replacing some sewer lines around the Fairwind subdivision. So just, you know, knocking off those projects that they're not sexy projects. They're not building rehabs downtown, but they show that, you know, we are moving forward. We're fixing the things that need to get fixed that haven't been fixed, and you know, once we get those done, we can start working on other things.
This city council race also elected the first openly gay council member, Ayers. Rockbridge Report's Maya Laura spoke with Ayers and profiled the race. You can find her coverage on rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
Now let's take a look at other local results. These are uncontested races, first in Buena Vista, then Rockbridge County Board, Walkers Creek. In Glasgow, you can see the 3 winners of the town council race. In Goshen, the mayor was uncontested, and the town council had 2 spots with no candidates. So I know the weather wasn't great on Tuesday.
But it didn't seem to deter voters from the polls. What are we looking at for the rest of the week, Donald?
Yeah, that's true. We did have some rain earlier this week, but it was really a nice day out there today. Let's actually take a live look outside at House Mountain here from Lexington. And you can see House Mountain's really got a great sunset out there today. It was a beautiful day today outside. Hope you were able to take advantage of it, get outside. Oh, that sunset is just gorgeous out there. Really loving it today. I actually had a sweater on, pulled up my sleeves. It was a really great day. You can see the high today, 61 degrees, low of 40 coming at us this evening. So a little chilly, but not too bad. Really not much wind out there, just 2 miles an hour coming out of the east. Humidity sitting at about 50%. Let's take a look at our radar, and you can see there's really not too much out there right now, but as I shift this direction, we do have some showers and some clouds coming in from North Carolina. We'll touch on that more in just a second. Take a look at our region right now. You can see still warm down in Roanoke, about 60 degrees, a little cooler up in Covington. This is where those clouds are starting to push in. You can see it really hasn't hit this direction though. Still temperatures in the mid to upper 50s and some sunshine still out in Charlottesville. If you take a look at our 5-day forecast, you can see what I mean with those showers. Cooler temperatures and rain coming our way starting tonight into tomorrow. High of 44 tomorrow. Low is down below freezing, 31. Really going to be chilly on Saturday night, 23, but we do have some sunshine coming at us for Veterans Day weekend. High of 50 on Sunday, and then some rain and some clouds coming back for us for the start of the next week. Crawford and Faith, back to you.
Thank you, Donald. It was a news conference that left even veteran Trump watchers astonished, taken aback by the back and forth with reporters. CNN's Jeannie Mose reports.
President, when it comes to ranking the craziest press conferences, this one was nothing to sniff at.
Okay, just sit down, please. Sit down, please. Sit down. I didn't call you. Excuse me, I'm not responding to you. I'm talking to this gentleman. Will you please sit down?
Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, you're rocking the boat. There was plenty of boat rocking at this news conference.
It's such a hostile media. It's so sad. You rudely interrupted him. You are not called on.
Some called it a meltdown. Comparing it with the witch's meltdown in The Wizard of Oz, the most confrontational moment came when CNN's Jim Acosta held on to the mic and a mini tug-of-war with a Trump staffer ensued.
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President.
That's enough.
Whereupon the president
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President,
proceeded to walk away from the podium, but not for long. And when NBC's Peter Alexander defended Acosta,
he's a diligent reporter who busts his
Well, I'm
butt
not a
like the
big
rest
fan
of
of yours either, so
I understand.
To be honest.
Wolf Blitzer has seen a lot of press conferences, but
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
And in between sparring with the press, the president expressed his admiration for Oprah,
who I like. I don't know if she likes me anymore, but that's okay. She used to.
And in what felt a little like a public marriage proposal, the president answered this question with one of his own.
Will the vice president be your running mate in 2020?
Mike, will you be my running mate? Will you? Thank you. Okay, good. The answer is yes.
The news conference ended with a call for harmony.
Hopefully the tone can get a lot better, and I really believe it begins with the media.
But first, they better...
Sit down, please. Sit down.
Jeannie Mo, CNN.
Sit down,
New York.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President.
That's...
The exchange cost Acosta his White House press pass. Next on the Rockbridge Report, Florida votes down dogs. You can bet we are covering this big change.
The W&L men's basketball team just played a pair of Division I schools. How coaches hope to build on that experience. Next in sports. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. There's a kind of racing that's about to end in Florida, and many animal rights advocates are celebrating. Sophie, what's this about?
Well, Faith, in national sports, Florida voters chose to phase out greyhound racing in the state by 2021, meaning thousands of dogs will soon need new homes. The state voted 69 to 31% Tuesday to pass Amendment 13, banning the sport beginning the 1st of next year. Florida's 11 dog tracks make up nearly 2/3 of the country's tracks. Here in Virginia, Virginia Military Institute's men's football team won its first football game since 2016 on Saturday. The Cadets defeated Tusculum University 20-11 here in Lexington to end their 25-game losing streak. The team's winless drought was the longest in Division I football until this past weekend's win. The Cadets will return to the field here in Lexington on Saturday to play Furman University for the team's senior day. Over in Buena Vista, the Southern Virginia University football team defeated William Patterson University 8-3 for a homecoming victory. This win brings the Knights to 3-6 on the season. Their final game of the season will be this Saturday, where they take on the College of New Jersey at home. Here on Washington and Lee's campus, the men's basketball team has 5 new faces this year. 4 are first-year players and 1 is an assistant coach. The team's head coach is in his 2nd year. The Rockbridge Report's Bo Sheridan took a look at how the team is adjusting to a younger coaching staff.
The Washington and Lee men's basketball team is preparing for the 2018-2019 season with 2 coaches who have a combined 1 year of coaching experience on campus. Head coach Chris McHugh enters his 2nd season after his team finished tied for 2nd in the ODAC last year. This offseason, the Generals hired assistant coach Matt Williams to help the team reach their goal of winning a conference championship.
Has great basketball knowledge, has bring a lot of enthusiasm and effort every single day, has been already paying off as a great asset to our program. I'm really excited to watch him develop.
Senior captain Devin Kearns says the addition of Williams has been great for the team thus far.
It's an easy fit, fits right in with us, understands the guys we have here, comes from Davidson, so obviously understands high academic, being a student athlete.
Last year, Williams was an assistant at Hampton-Sydney College. His experience as a Division I athlete has helped him as a coach.
Just really excited about the character of the guys in our program and also their talent level. And along with that, they're striving to be better every single day. When the effort's there and the intensity's there, it makes my job as a coach a lot easier.
Last Thursday, the Generals played the Davidson Wildcats in an exhibition game, falling 116-56. The Wildcats made the NCAA tournament a year ago. McHugh wanted to see how his players would react to playing tougher competition than they are used to.
It made our team getting used to playing at a faster pace and to be sharper with every cut and every pass and every defensive assignment.
The next day, the Generals scrimmaged Radford University, another team that made the NCAA tournament last spring. This game was much closer. The Generals lost by 21.
Overall, I thought we played pretty well. I thought we built. I think we're a better team now than we were the 2 days prior to playing those 2 great opponents.
With the tune-up competitions behind them, the Generals are looking forward to the games that truly matter. The Generals were picked by the ODAC to finish 6th out of 12 teams in the conference this season.
Rankings don't matter till the end of the year, but right now it's just a number to get in people's heads, but it really means nothing.
The men's basketball team will open regular season play against William Peace University on November 11th. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Bo Sheridan.
In high school sports, Rockbridge County High School women's volleyball defeated Rustburg High School 3-1 Wednesday night. This brings the team to 18-1 on the season. They will play their final regular season match against Hidden Valley High School on Friday. Over in Buena Vista, the Perry McClure High School football team narrowly defeated Narrows High School Friday night, 35-34. The Fighting Blues are now 6-4 on the season. They will play their final game Friday night against Bath County. The Washington and Lee men's and women's cross-country teams both won their 4th straight ODAC championship this past weekend. They head to regionals this Saturday, hoping to move on to the next level, nationals. The Rockbridge Report's James Laverty has the story.
When Brandon Spalding and Michael Dager took over as coaches. The men hadn't won an ODAC championship since 2007. The women hadn't since 2012. Since then, both teams have won 4 consecutive ODAC titles. Spalding credited the senior class for the men's team's turnaround.
Those guys were part of the recruiting process that they believed that they could come into the program and really turn things around and start winning conference championships.
Senior captain Cooper Baird attributes a new culture under Coach Spalding to the team's success.
He listens to each person individually. He takes everything into account for that specific person and builds a training program unique for them.
Cross country is a fall-only sport, but it requires discipline.
It begins over the summer where they're putting in 10 to 12 weeks of pretty high mileage and making sure they're on the proper progressions to come in prepared for the season.
The men's class of 2019 is only the 2nd class in WNL history to win an ODAC conference championship in all of their 4 years. The women's 2019 class became the 1st. This past weekend, the women's team had 3 of their runners finish in the top 7. Junior Katie Barrett finished 4th.
I think the senior class especially kind of set a precedent for what the team is and where we're going to head in the future.
First-year Ethan Bernstein placed 7th at regionals this last weekend, garnering first-team All-ODAC accolades. He is the first runner to accomplish that as a WNL freshman since 2013.
To get that top 2 spot, it's going to be difficult, but the most important thing is running together as a pack.
To qualify for nationals, each team must place in the top 2 at regionals. The men's team has qualified for nationals 3 times, most recently in 2016.
Emory University is probably who we need to focus on for that 2nd spot. We do have a case for a decent resume to get an at-large bid if we do fall into the 3rd spot.
The women's team has yet to qualify for nationals.
Currently we are ranked 2nd, so there's definitely potential for us to go to nationals, and it would be the first time in WNL women's cross-country program history.
The Generals next compete at the NCAA South-Southeast Regional on Saturday at Berry College in Georgia. Should they qualify, nationals will be held the following weekend at Lake Breeze Golf Club in Winnicott, Wisconsin. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm James Laverty.
That's all for sports. Crawford and Faith, back to you.
Thanks, Sophie. That's all for the Rockbridge Report today. Tune in next Tuesday for Rockbridge Report's news update.
For more information on today's top stories, go to rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.